Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. So, if you've been watching my channel, you know I make a lot of tier list ranking videos, and you also know that I post a lot of fitness, lifting content. And today I figured why not combine the two and make a fitness tier list. I figured I'd start with a very controversial one right off the bat, and that is CrossFit. You either love or hate CrossFit, and I think most people hate CrossFit. It's notorious for the kipping pull-ups, which are an iconic and infamous exercise, if you want to call it that. It's basically just like it's a horrible version of a pull-up. And they're also known for being like really injury prone, especially the like official games. They never plan it out properly, and they're trying to like make heavy weight lifting, like Olympic weightlifting, but they're trying to do it as fast as possible, which is not smart. If you're lifting heavy, you should be slow and controlled. The CrossFit athletes are insanely impressive. I will give them that. They're all like great, at a bunch of different disciplines or practices. So they're strong. They're in really good running shape. They even like ride bikes, which that reminds me, another failing of CrossFit is like the biking. During the actual CrossFit games, they all just ran into each other. They look like they don't even know how to bike, but obviously there's some people who know how to bike that do CrossFit. But I'd say their balance kind of makes up for the like buffoonery that goes on in CrossFit, but I still think that the negatives outweigh the positives, because in my opinion, why not just train like smart in all of those disciplines separately instead of throwing it all together? Just do bodybuilding separately, run and do cardio on its own. If you want to do Olympic weightlifting, do that on the side, but don't try to do it at speed. It's not really smart. We're gonna put CrossFit in the C category. I don't think it's an absolute joke, because there still is some impressive athletes that do CrossFit, but the negatives outweigh the positives. So second to last in C. All right, next up is bodybuilding. As you can tell, I'm a bit of a bodybuilder myself, although some people might be like, oh, you're not even big. You can't call yourself a bodybuilder. But that is a thing I like training. I do a combination of bodybuilding and powerlifting. Personally, I love bodybuilding. Very fun way to train. You either follow the like classic arms and like bro split back, and then chest another day, and then legs all at once, or you could do a nice little mix up where you do antagonizing body parts on the same day, or you could do full body like I do. You got to be a special kind of crazy to train full body though. But whatever your preference is, bodybuilding kind of allows you to do like whatever you like training, as long as you're building the body. I think the one downside of bodybuilding, or maybe two downsides, is one, it's a very vain sport. You kind of just care about your appearance, and it also like forces you to be very selfish, because I mean, you get so focused on yourself and what you're eating, especially if you're prepping, like nothing else takes priority except eating and trying to look as good as possible. And then the other downside is sometimes I think bodybuilding training can be a little boring, or more so the like discourse around bodybuilding. You got people saying like, oh, you need to train scientifically, scientific based. Oh, this split's better than that split. Oh, you shouldn't be doing any compound lifts. You need to do the most optimal thing. And it's like that side of bodybuilding gets really like boring and tiring. I enjoy bodybuilding and powerlifting, like I said, but I still lift like really heavy with even with my bodybuilding lifts. Like I like to throw around a lot of weight. Doesn't mean I don't feel the muscle and lift correctly, but I do like to like have fun when I lift. But as far as the tier list goes, I think I'd put bodybuilding in S tier. I've definitely fallen in love with it, and that leads me to the next fitness category here, powerlifting. Also love powerlifting. Maybe I'll throw up my numbers here real quick. You gotta flex your numbers. Like anyone who powerlifts, SBD with your numbers. 405 squat, 275 bench, absolute garbage. But I only weigh like 170, so it's not that bad. And then my deadlift all the time is 500. But anyway, with that out of the way, powerlifting, also another one of my favorite ways to train. I don't do full powerlifting where I just bulk to a freaking large fat size where I get to like 250, but I do love lifting heavy compound movements, squat, bench, deadlift. Maybe you get bored of the same lifts. The only one I'd say I get bored of is bench, just because I plateau and like barely move on bench, but that's my fault. I gotta train better on bench, but I love squatting and deadlifting, although deadlifting sometimes can lead to some injuries if you do it wrong. That's the only downside to deadlifting, I'd say, but deadlifting is a fun lift too. It's definitely a bit of an ego sport. You're just trying to get as much weight as possible, just move it as much as possible. And like, I mean, besides people in the gym, nobody really cares about your lifts. Maybe some do, but it really is just an ego thing for some people. They just care about their numbers. But I think it's cool because it gives you something to focus on besides just like your body, how you look, which sometimes can become negative. Like if you're worried about your body image all the time, you can start to develop body dysmorphia. You don't think you look that good, but powerlifting's a better, in my opinion, a better gauge of progress because you can focus on numbers and weight, which you can actually see go up. Sometimes it's hard to see the progress on your body day after day. I think I'm also going to put powerlifting at S tier. It's one of my favorite fitness categories. All right, here's another one of my preferred training methods, calisthenics. If you don't know what that is, it's basically body weight training. So push-ups, pull-ups. I guess you can count abs in calisthenics, and then you got like all the crazy like movements on the bar, like levers, front levers. I don't know. I'm not that advanced. I don't even know like all those different exercises, but basics, push-ups, pull-ups, dips as well. I do love doing calisthenics as well. I think they're better off weighted, so you can progress past your body weight, but calisthenics are perfect because even if you have no equipment, you can just drop down and do push-ups. If you can find like a tree, you can do pull-ups. The versatility of it is like really great, really convenient, and like you can kind of progress if you get heavier. So push-ups become harder, pull-ups become harder if you get heavier, which can kind of like go with your progress. So it's very versatile, and you can do it anywhere. Sometimes those movements get boring. Like if I can't go to the gym because of weather, bad weather, or like I'm recovering from being sick and I just want to go into it light, you do push-ups, pull-ups just to get moving, but eventually I get that itch to lift heavy. But then in that case, you can just load up pull-ups, heavy dips. So I do like how that you can adapt with the different exercises. And I still stand by this like opinion that no matter how heavy you get, how strong you are as a lifter, even if you're like getting up to like 220 or something, you should still be able to do a pull-up and a push-up and a good amount of them, because it's like keep that number steady with your progress. So even if you're getting heavier, just train so that you can still do push-ups and pull-ups, because like what's the point of lifting all this weight if you can't move your own body weight? Like, I mean, those other lifts are impressive, but you should still be able to move your own body weight, in my opinion. I'm gonna put calisthenics at A tier. Not as great as powerlifting and bodybuilding, but still a great way to train. All right, now we got running. Sure, any bodybuilder watching this video loves running. Same with powerlifters. Powerlifters might love running even more. I've never been a huge fan of running, but I've definitely gotten way better at it than I used to be. I used to have to run a decent amount for soccer in high school, but I was a goalie, so I was kind of lazy anyway. I didn't have to run as much as everyone else, just sat there and goal. But I still was in decent shape, and I've gotten in better shape the more I've had to run for other things. Running, it's one of those where it's like, it sucks when you start, and even like later down the line it still sucks. I'm still waiting on running to be fun for me. Sometimes it is. Like if I hit a longer run, like 3 or 4 miles, more like 5 miles, 6 miles, that's a longer run. And around the 3 mile mark, I start to like actually enjoy it, but then I just get tired very quickly. So kind of a love-hate relationship with running. It's great to get out there and move. It's versatile. Obviously you can just run anywhere. Even if it's bad weather, you hopefully can go to the gym and run on the treadmill. Although running on the treadmill absolutely sucks. I hate running on the treadmill, so I honestly rather go outside in like 15-degree weather and run outside. But yeah, I like how running's versatile. It's pretty effective for like fitness. Obviously it keeps your heart in shape. So even if you're just a bodybuilder or powerlifter only, like you should still do cardio to keep your heart in shape, because it's fitness after all. It's not just about looking good, it's about being fit and living longer. And running is one of those best ways to keep you in shape for a prolonged period of time. Like if you run, you can keep running your whole life. You're gonna have a healthy heart and you're gonna be healthy in other ways. And sometimes it's nice to just get outside and move around. Not my favorite, and I'm sure it's not your favorite either, but running has its place. It's definitely an important fitness discipline. We'll put it in B, middle of the road. All right, here's the final fitness category for the video today. If you guys want to see a part 2, leave some comments of other fitness categories that I missed. I'm sure there's more out there that I just didn't think of. But this final category is fighting. I have very little fighting experience, and from the experience I do have, let's just say it didn't end well. Putting personal history behind, fighting is actually really sick. It's great to be able to know how to fight properly, to defend yourself. Big aspect of fighting is obviously you're trying to hurt the person that's opposing you, or at least stop them, but you also need to know how not to hurt yourself while fighting. So it takes an extreme amount of discipline to know how to fight, which moves to use, how to assess the situation. Also, you have to be in shape to fight. You gotta have good cardio because fights can last for a while, depending on like the discipline. You could be doing BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Boxing matches go really long and it really wears down on you. If you ever boxed, it gets tiring real fast. But I just think fighting is a great tool to have in your fitness like tool belt. Because what are all the muscles for if you can't actually use them? And I know like you're not walking around getting a fight 24/7, but it is nice to like be prepared in case you ever do get challenged. And just it definitely gives you confidence. Like being able to fight just boosts your ego, boosts your confidence. You walk around a little more confident, and no one's gonna mess with you. So I think that one definitely has like the most real world application. Fighting is very important fitness category, and like you ever watch a fighting like match, boxing, MMA, UFC, like they're just tough dudes and girls. Like they're beasts. Like who doesn't want to be like that? Unless you don't like blood and injuries and all that. Obviously that comes with it. It's definitely one of the more dangerous categories on this list. But fighting's sick. I wish I was better at it, but I think I'm gonna put fighting we'll put it at A tier. It's definitely out there. So that's a wrap on this fitness category tier list. Let me know what you guys think about my rankings. Leave a comment down below whether you agree or disagree with me. Leave a like on the video as well. And like I said, comment if you want to see me rank more fitness categories. There's a ton more out there I could think of, like yoga, it's like some sports, different sports. What else is there? Just walking is another fitness category. There's a ton of stuff, so comment that if you want to see part 2 down below. And make sure to subscribe because I'm going to come out with a sports tier list next week, which should be a lot of fun. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Peace.